Legend of Total War here, and today we've got a rating your doomstack video playing as the Shadow Legion, where we've got a legendary hero doomstack. So we've gone over before how to steal legendary heroes, but I imagine there'll be a few people that are confused as to how so many legendary heroes from essentially opposing factions could be in one army. I'll go into detail about how to go about this at the end, after the end of the battle, but for now, we've got loads of legendary heroes in this army. Two of these actually aren't legendary heroes. They're part of Tamarkan's chieftains, which Kazak the Befouled is technically a legendary hero. These ones are unique heroes. It's a little bit weird. I'll go into a little bit more detail later. But two legendary heroes that he could have chosen instead of these two was Theodore Bruckner and Garagrim Ironfist. There's probably a couple of others, because I think there's more than 19 legendary heroes in the game now. Anyway, we're going up against the Dark Elves. Let's see how it performs. Close to fit and auto resolve, and we've got everything on max battle difficulty. Now the problem with using like all legendary heroes like this, in terms of like, it's not a practical doomstack, let's be real, and the amount of time this guy spent on this campaign is kind of ridiculous. It's nearly turned 400. The problem with this is that some of these characters probably don't fight that well together. You've also got a hell of a lot of abilities, and the thing is with an army like this, if you're going to build a doomstack, you don't really want to be frantically, at least I don't want to be frantically like smashing abilities down. It's just like, it sort of defeats the purpose of a doomstack in my opinion, which is to just have an army that you just click and then delete enemy armies. And there's just a lot of spellcasters here. Now there's certain characters that are big, which will get targeted. There are certain characters that are kind of vulnerable. And yeah, there's just a lot of potential micromanagement here. So as for our Lord, I'm just going to keep him out of it. In fact, I'll withdraw him from the battlefield. He could have used a Legendary Lord to command this army. Not a big deal, though. One good choice might have actually been Azazel, because he actually provides a small bonus to the weapon strength of all heroes in the army. Again, not a big deal, though. We've even got Lord Croak here, who he's a particularly difficult one. He and Ariel are particularly difficult to steal as legendary heroes. Other ones, less so. But anyway, let's get into this. So just have them come over here. And like I said, I'll explain how to do this after the battle's over. So like I said, it's not really a good army that they're going to just gel well together because of all the different abilities, and I don't think you want to be sitting there smashing everything down. I mean, some people might like to do that, but I personally don't. And I think with certain hero stacks, like what's called Exalted Heroes, as an example, you just basically tell them to go fight, and they've all got the same ability, so you just select them all and just press their ability and it activates more. Whereas if you've got two heroes that have different abilities, you don't have access to them when they're selected. You have to do it individually. So the main thing that you want to do with a hero army is make sure you've got a healer, which we definitely do have. Make sure that there's enough protection for those if you want to send them all in melee. So probably the blue scribes probably don't want to put them in. Maybe. Then again, at high levels, his combat stats aren't too bad. And at the end of the day, we've got Echoed Hellblast there. And yeah, no, I don't think the blue scribes should be in a melee blob, so just move him out of there. You can. Oh, I actually can't withdraw you from the battlefield. Just get out of the way. Okay, so then put you in control group 2. Let's see, what else would we want to do with this? I think that Satang the Watcher could be quite vulnerable because he's big. Croak is. So he'll be fine. Okay, I probably want him in control group 3 because this ability is definitely one I want to utilize. Isabella with her healing, this I'm pretty sure will only work on no, it works on non-undead. It's vampire magic that doesn't work on undead. That only works on undead, sorry, but this works on non-undead. Otherwise, she'd only be able to heal Ulrika with Invocation of Nehek. We've got Snaggler Grobspit, which I forgot existed in the game. And yeah, just loads of heroes in here. Alright, let's chuck him in. Coadil. Yeah, see how they're targeting specifically the biggest boys? So Gotrek and Felix staying close together. Actually, Felix is good in here because he'll be able to heal a couple of them. Okay, pop that down there. Typically with hero stacks, you want to be blobbing up. That way, any sort of passive bonuses that they... Oh god, look at all this shit. That they provide to each other, it just makes them nigh unkillable. I'll keep the blue scribes out of it for now, but we could use the spells. Another thing is, we've already got a fantastic spellcaster in here, in Aerial. All we gotta do is one Winds of Magic dwells below. Holy shit. Wasn't expecting that. Because usually she can get it down to like 9. Don't forget, the base for that is like what, 14 or 17 or something? So yeah, he's got it down like 95%. But yeah, 1 Winds of Magic dwells below. That is fucking insane. I wonder if you've got cheap spells. Look at this. Soul Stealer for 1 Winds of Magic. Everything's just 1 Winds of Magic with him. I wonder if this guy's doing something that's reducing the Winds of Magic cost for the entire army. Okay, Isabella is needing to get down on the ground. Yeah, you want to keep them all close together. This is where sometimes flying units can be a bit of a problem, because once they're done fighting with someone, they'll get back up in the air. What are you doing? Forget about Karanak. Get over here. Having Bragg the Gutsman's good as well. If there's any high-level enemy lords like this, what he does is increase their wound time, so they're going to be gone for up to 8 turns, or even more. Maybe. Yeah, see, a lot of these abilities here, I just don't really need to use that. This will be better against single entities. This one, much better against like multi-entities. And if you want extra melee attack, we've got Locus. Actually, weapon strength, not melee attack. For Locus of Fury. Just let it go. Make sure we keep them all together. Got summons if we need them with this. It would be good to focus on their heroes. They're probably the ones that are going to do the most mad damage to us. Coadil can easily route units very easily. Obviously we can use Croak's magic. Oh, what's he got? 6 Winds of Magic, which that's still very cheap for some big old pizzas. I actually have no idea his abilities. I have not played Greenskins since Omens of Destruction, really. Plenty of spells, we just don't need to use them all, that's all. Like I said, there's so many abilities that we can use, but the battle itself is not difficult enough for us to really worry about it. I just don't see the point in like furiously going, oh, gotta press. I could always use the hotkeys. But that requires pressing buttons. I'm too lazy. So here's a super duper doomstack, but you have to frantically press keys. You gotta win either way, but you have to frantically press keys. Yeah, and the problem with the blue scribes, because you gotta kind of babysit him with his spells. So he'd be annoying to use in this army. That's why I'm just keeping him out of it. Constantly having to double check all of his spells, see what's available for him. So nobody's in particularly bad shape. Curious to know how much good equipment he's got on all of them. Interesting. Croak's definitely a good one to have, even just for the Supreme Shield. The old ones, extra damage resistance every now and again, 40% is really good. But I reckon the biggest winner here is actually Aerial with 1 Winds of Magic dwellers below. No, get... Okay. And what's the cooldown on the spell? 16 seconds, okay. I could also use Tempest on there as well. See, yeah, none of these spells are useful. Just do this to reset it, because any ability will do that. And none of that's going to be useful against him. Actually, you can just keep shooting it. Don't see the point in having... Oh, I guess that would increase his heal cap. So he doesn't need that, he's got regen. Oh god, I can't stand this into him, holy shit.
Where's the kill? As you say!
And they're trying to shoot at us, but they're just not really dishing out a ton of damage. Pretty much not much point at all in using Helm of Discord. I mean, they're most likely going to have a near 100% hit chance anyway. Just because of all the ridiculous buffs and debuffs that's going on here. I mean, trying to go through everything is so unnecessary. The thing is, though, totally fine to make this if you want to spend 400 turns in your campaign. But at no point is this ever, like, required. I think the amount of effort to reward ratio is a bit on the low side. Like, the reward's high, but the effort is considerably higher to do this. It would take a very long time. Hence why he's nearly 400 turns into the campaign. No one seems to be taking very much damage, although there's probably a lot of healing stuff going on, so any damage that is being done is getting healed right away. But we'll notice if any of them are taking a lot of damage if their heal cap starts to reach. Yeah, just keep the blue scribes out of it. I reckon he would have actually been the most vulnerable. And it seems like they're going after Coadil, but Coadil's got pretty good resistances, so even though they've got like a 100% chance of hitting him with their missile attacks, they're just not going to do that much damage, and he's probably got a lot of heal capacity. Thing is, Deliverance of Itza here at 6 Winds of Magic, that wouldn't actually be better than using Dwellers Below for 1 Winds of Magic. Still pretty good. Also, what's his spell intensity at? 115%, which that's normal for him because he's got Greater Arcane Conduit. She's at 120%, but her spell casting isn't quite as good. Like, higher intensity, but higher cost as well. But I also don't think that we're short on magic. Thing is, what you really want to do with the blue scribes, I probably wouldn't have put him in this army. What really works well with him is putting him paired with a character that's on a Chaos War Shrine of Tzeentch, using his abilities here to cause some summons. You put the summons near the Chaos War Shrine of Tzeentch. When that summon runs out, it technically counts as dead entities, and that charges the Chaos War Shrine's ability, which provides you with extra Winds of Magic reserves and spell intensity. And that's all you need for the entire army, because once he's got unlimited Winds of Magic, especially if you could manage to stalk the Chaos War Shrine. So probably best to have that on a character and then have some sort of item. Maybe get it on a Lord. So, okay, character of Tzeentch, get Snitch's defeat trait. so you don't need an item for it. And then, yeah, at the beginning of the battle, pop down the summons, assuming that you roll them. There's various abilities and items that the other characters can get, though. And then, yeah, just use the blue scribes to obliterate the enemy army with magic. And it would not take as long as this to do at all. Pretty sure in one of my Shadow Legion campaigns, I've got essentially that set up, and it's only like turn 50. And yeah, he was able to get thousands of kills every battle, just by himself, without having to use the army. Because the army was just like stalking.
God against dark. The war aspect.
So I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't have Yuan Boast defeat trade here. So yeah, that did pretty well. Everyone's in fantastic shape. I reckon Echold was doing a fair bit of passive healing there. But I really did not need to micro very much. And there was a lot of very dangerous units. Like, Shade's dual weapons, only dishing out that much damage. Yeah, they weren't dishing out much damage at all. And these are very high damage units. Anyway, we'll go into the campaign map, have a look at his Lord. I'm very curious how he got the Winds of Magic reduced that much. And then I'll explain how you do this. I know most of you guys already know how to do it, which is why I wanted to leave it to the end of the video, because most of you would be like, oh, I've already heard this explanation 20 times. You just click off and be like, alright, I'm done with the video. But if you don't know about it, just hang on, I'll tell you. It's not a complicated process. It's been around forever. You know, bugs, exploits that don't ever get fixed. I don't think it's worth popping down shitloads of negative reviews over bugs that are optional. I mean, you'd have to kind of deliberately do this in order to make use of it, and the AI doesn't do it because they don't borrow enemy allied armies. Only the player can do that. So just get through this turn here. So yeah, he's only got one region, and he's played for freaking nearly 400 turns. But you know, if his goal in the campaign was to just make this army, it's fine. I mean, you play the campaign however you want. Alright, so... Oh my god. Well, yeah... Let me just see here. I'm just curious. Did he have like a lot of territory at one point and then just sort of gave it up? Yeah, he did. So he had a lot of territory at one point and then just very quickly surrendered it. Happened very quickly there. Okay, all good. Alright, so that army... Oh god, trying to... Actually, it shouldn't be too... There it is. I was going to say, it shouldn't be too hard to find. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this guy here... And let me have a look. Just seeing what's possibly reducing the Winds of Magic cost by that much. So you've definitely got... where is it? Yeah, there it is. Yuan Bo's defeat trait. Is that the only one? So yeah, you've even got Isabella's defeat trait there. So that's not this Isabella. That's the... Because yeah, he would have had to have wiped out the vampire counts, as in, the Von Carsteins, brought them back, so Isabella would have been available as a Legendary Lord and a Legendary Hero. Let me just see, yeah, so they're still around, so they, she should still be here, somewhere, as a Legendary Lord, but now that you've got them as an enemy, I don't have a cheat code to turn off the Fog of War, so she's out there somewhere. Because yeah, otherwise there's no other, unless you're using cheats to get the defeat trait. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that they're doing to reduce Winds of Magic. Oh, actually, let me just see here. Doesn't Ariel have an ability that reduces Winds of Magic cost for the entire army? I'm just trying to remember. So what's Winds of Magic cost for her? Yeah, I could be mistaken though. Yeah, look, Winds of Magic cost minus 10% for all spells, Hero's Army. Right. So you've got these two things stacking. Right. That would significantly reduce the Winds of Magic cost overall for all of this. Yeah. Okay, cool. Interesting that you don't have his unique items on Croak. I wonder if you... Sometimes when you steal a legendary hero, you don't get to keep their equipment. That seems to have been the case here. So that's interesting. Alright, so let's explain how to do this. So, first thing you do is you find a vassal. Or ally. Okay. So let's see... Which one should we have a look at? Let's have a look at Karazakarak and see what's going on with them. Actually, no, we'll look at Kislev because I already saw there was plenty of armies that could be borrowed. So, you didn't have the Golden Knight either. I wonder if she's in here somewhere. God, trying to find a needle in a bloody haystack.
This is my right.
This is my right.
Champion of Kislev.
He might have already stolen it, just wasn't in the army. Let me just check. Oh god, trying to keep track of this. Like, it's not my campaign, so it's like there's just so much shit going on here. Holy crap. You stole Nakari?
Lord.
So yeah, you as the Legion of Chaos, you can borrow. You can confederate all the other Warriors of Chaos, but he's Slanesh. What else did you steal?
Belakor.
This is why. Lord of Court.
So I'm just thinking, how,
Demon Prince.
in order to have stolen Nakari, you've got to have been using console commands for that, because I know you can actually steal lords from other factions. I actually have no idea how he managed to do this. Because, yeah, you can steal lords from other factions in a very similar way that you can steal a legendary hero. Legendary heroes. So, let's just... Oh my god, so many things going on in this campaign. Let's just firstly explain how to do this. So what you do is you take an allied army. You need to be able to borrow it. It'd be good if there was one that actually had a hero in it, so I could use visuals.
It helps my homeland.
A bold stratagem.
None of them have heroes in it. It doesn't matter. Actually, curious. Yeah, you can't borrow this army, so I don't know how he managed to get Nakari. Because, yeah, it's in the Ice Court, but he's been confederated. And there was...
Of the land.
A bold
Let me see here. There was, yeah, a Stankia over here, and she can't be loaned either. So, how he managed to steal Nakari, I actually have no fucking idea. At all. But anyway, so what you do is you borrow an army. It has to have the hero already attached to it, because you can't borrow heroes that are already around. All legendary heroes, you should be able to borrow armies that have them. But if the legendary hero is attached to an army that has a legendary lord, it'll say, you know, this army contains a character that cannot be loaned. So let's just say hypothetically that the Golden Knight was attached to this army. You would borrow it. Now, all legendary heroes are immortal by default, and so what you do then is you go into a battle and then you get that character wounded, but you don't get your entire army wiped out. Just that particular character, get them wounded, and they're wounded on the campaign map, and they show up in your list, and that way you can give the army back because it's detached from the army, and then in 5 turns or whatever, that hero comes back and it's under your control. It also works for heroes that are immortal, but if you borrow a hero. If you borrow an army, and the hero is level 19, so you need to get it 1 more level to get immortality, you get it to level 20, and then you need to make sure you give the army back before you borrow it again, because when you've got heroes and lords borrowed from other factions, no skill points ever get distributed until you hand the character back. So that means they wouldn't get immortality. We've actually done this before, tested it in a challenge video a long time ago with I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, I got a character to level 20 and then got them wounded on the same turn, and they actually died. They didn't get their immortality. What I had to do was hand the character back to the faction, borrow it again. I think you have to wait a turn, but I'm not entirely sure. then get the character wounded. Now, as for Lords, it's basically the same process. The character has to be immortal, you get them wounded, and then they get detached from their army and get put into your recruit pool. Now, I've actually never done that in terms of stolen another Lord from another faction. I just know that you can do it, so I'm not 100% sure on the details on that. But that's how you do the Legendary Hero stealing army. But as for how we managed to get Nakari, I'm actually completely dumbfounded by that. I have no idea how he managed it. Like all these other ones, that's just, you know, we just confederate them, you know, without using exploits. But I have no idea how he managed to get Nakari. Because I can't see any way of him actually borrowing Nakari and then getting him wounded. I have no idea how he managed to do this. So yeah, I'd actually like an explanation from that one. But anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Oh yeah, right. Ranking the doomstack. It's pretty much 10 out of 10 in terms of how powerful it is. It's got a lot of abilities, requires a fair bit of micro, but you totally just don't need to do that. Some people love just powering them down with all the abilities everywhere. I don't personally like that, so to each their own. That's fine. Not the greatest team ever, but it doesn't matter. This will pretty much beat anything, especially, you know, especially with all the other abilities you've got active going on, and with the reduced winds of magic costs. Yeah, this is basically 10 out of 10. But in terms of like how practical it is, it's basically a 0 out of 10 for practicality. Really, really not practical. There are some legendary heroes that's really good for stealing. Another one that I didn't see here, of course, is Gorich. Gorich is really easy for the Shadow Legion to steal because you don't start off that far away from Clan Molder, so you don't have your initial starting region. But anyway, you go over to Clan Molder early on in the campaign, vassalize them, make sure you smash Throt so that you get the defeat trait, but also separate him from Gorich. Vassalize them, and when at the earliest opportunity, borrow an army that has Gorich in it, and get Gorich wounded. Then get Gorich attached into an army that you want to put Bile Trolls into, or really just any monsters, because Gorich has got a bunch of traits and skills that boost monster units in an army, and so you can make like a Bile Troll army, that's usually what I use it for, a Bile Troll army, even more powerful. I mean, they're already super powerful on their own, gives them huge amounts of bonuses, and he's also got like an area of effect buff for units that provides, I think, missile resistance and spell resistance, so that's particularly useful for things like Fireball, anything that could do your damage to your blob if you intend to use it that way. And that is a practical way to do it. You just get the one legendary hero, attach it to a thematic army, rather than throwing in all of the legendary heroes into one army, which kind of comes across as quite a bit of a mess. But that's what I usually do in my campaigns. Just, you know, find a purpose for each individual legendary hero, rather than throw them all into one army. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.